Okay,
so
guys.
I wanted to show you how I made this rocket stove. This is rocket stove number 2, and I'm actually just getting started in the making of it, but I'm going to show you guys. These are 2 coffee cans. They're just, 2 large coffee cans. 1 coffee can would not give me enough draft. See if I can get these apart so I can show you guys what I've done. So I wanted the chimney to be high enough. So I cut the bottom out of the top can, and the bottom can, I cut there's a little rim that goes in here like this one. I cut that rim out, and then I made 2 little tabs, like a little bit bigger than an inch. Let's see, you guys can see that. 1 on each side. And that will allow me to slip this in there and have those little tabs. So now I've got those little tabs right here, and I'm just going to put a little self-tapping sheet metal screw in there. And so I'm going to go ahead and I just cut this with tin snips up here, but to cut this out, I'm thinking I'm going to cut you want to leave a little bit of space on the bottom, and then how big your opening is determines how much wood you can put in, and also how it's going to draft. Too big of an opening, you won't get enough draft. Too small of an opening, you won't be able to probably get enough fuel in there. I really don't know that much about it, so I'm no expert, so I might even be incorrect in what I'm telling you guys. But this is what I think goes on with these. And so my first one was successful, so we'll see how this one does. I'm going to try, I think just this 2 bars here, which it'll make it a little bit of a small opening. Maybe I'll go a little more, but it'll be a little bit of a small opening. But I think that'll give me a better draw, but I won't be able to put a lot of fuel in at a time. Okay guys, so I've got these holes here in the tabs, and I have it so that it goes right in this little groove here, the hole. And these are the sheet metal self-tapping. You can see the way the head of that is. And that's a self-tapping sheet metal screw. So we're going to put that in there. It's longer than it needs to be, but that's okay. And this one has it's a nut driver type, but I think you can get them with screw heads too. And they sell them in neat little packages where you can get a bunch of these. They're nice to have around if you're going to do any kind of sheet metal work. And so they you guys can see they turn right in there, and they will tighten nice. I hope this camera angle and everything's okay. So that's nice and tight. So I think all I need is 1 on each side. And so now I think I'm going to put my chimney opening over here, because I have these on the sides. And I'm just going to cut a slit down here, up here, and just cut that rectangle out. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to try a razor knife, because that worked on the other can. And I think it will work perfectly fine down the bottom here. But I may have some trouble going on the uprights, but we'll see.
Okay guys, so here is the rocket stove when I'm finished, and I did add a 3rd additional can onto this, so there's 3 cans tall. So I'll show you. When you guys saw in the beginning, I showed you how I attached the 2nd can. Well, I did the same thing for the 3rd can. I cut out the little rim that was in there, and then we put the third can on. And the only modifications that I made was I put a second bottom in, which was just another can top I cut out and dropped in. And then this little door, you don't need it. I decided it's not needed. I'll give you guys the dimensions of this here, because this burns beautifully if you want to make one of these. These are the large coffee cans. This door, you know, it's okay. It might help a little bit when starting to drop this, close it a little bit and then open it up as it gets going. But I don't think it's really worth it. I'm going to probably take it off or just leave it on there, but I wouldn't recommend it as part of the build. As far as inside, I did put in this secondary, it's a piece of steel. It's much heavier. Doesn't look much heavier than the coffee cans, but it is. It's a piece of steel siding or steel roofing or something like that. And I just bent it. So there is room if you want it to insulate over there and over there. But really it burns really well. And I don't feel like I want to insulate it at all. Because it burns good. And it's protecting the cans so that I think that they'll last, you know, a lot longer, and certainly long enough, because I'm just burning some stuff out here. You know, I could use it as an emergency cook stove and just to burn a little fire at night. And what I love about the rocket stoves is once they're burning nice and clean, you don't have to worry about the smoke like with a fire pit or a chimney. You know, we had a chimney, and all the time the smoke seemed to end up coming where we were sitting. With this thing, once it's burning, there's virtually no smoke at all coming out of here. It's just heat going straight up. So, yeah, I showed you guys most of the build. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, guys, so this is the improved version. I put in a inner chimney inside, so it's like a double wall chimney with a heavy piece of steel in there. And I put in another, I doubled up the bottom of it. And it's burning really good, really clean, and very hot. I'm getting a little bit of a, definitely a rocket sound with the draw. Although it's small, because it's a small stove. So guys, as you can see, this little rocket stove burns pretty good. And if you wanted to put a pot or something on top of it, I would just suggest cutting out little shapes up here. I tried to take a can opener, you know, the triangle shape, and on a different can, and see if I could make the openings in here, because that would let the flames come out, and you could put the pot right on top. But that didn't work, so you'd probably have to cut this like I cut this with, believe it or not, I used a razor knife. Now if you guys do that, be very careful, because you have to push very hard, and that blade could break. You're probably better off drilling a hole. You could just drill a series of holes around here, because you need those flames to be able to come out. So you want the openings pretty big, you know, like 1 inch. So you could drill some holes and then use a jigsaw to cut out some. Alternatively, you could put on some kind of thing like a grate from your stove burner that just sat on top of here and gave a little bit of space for the pot to sit up a little bit so the flames could come out. So some kind of grate up here that holds it up a little bit would work. And yeah, that, or just cutting out some openings around here. But you want to go all the way around and, you know, have a lot of, you know, good size openings, like 1 inch. But yeah, so I hope you guys liked it. It's a fun little project. It's you know, you could probably knock the whole thing out in an hour. And you know, I did it over a couple of days, because at first it was just the 2 cans, and that burns fair enough, you know. But if you really want the rocket, you know, then you want the third can, and it will burn pretty well, even without the secondary piece of steel in there. But you might not have the stove around very long if you're going to burn it that hot for any length of time. You want that extra steel in there, and the extra can lid. Just throw it in the bottom before you put the secondary steel inside, and that'll help protect the bottom a little bit. Anyway, guys, I think they're fun. You know, it's fun to play with, and I'll be probably making some other rocket stoves. In fact, I already have made another one out of an oil can. Maybe I'll show you guys that. Let me know if you'd like to see that, or any of the other, well, ones that I come up with in the future. I haven't done any. But I'd like to try to do a cob one someday, and I'd like to try working with some other kind of materials, maybe some bricks or something. Or maybe even with metal, but heavier metal and a more robust design. Anyway, it's a lot of fun to experiment with, and it's great to sit outside at night in the summertime and just sit around a little fire without getting smoked out and enjoy looking at the fire and chatting. So guys, anyway, with that, I'm going to say goodbye, and hope you're all doing well. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.